To forecast the trends at Scarlet Opus, we use this six-stage process, which starts by looking at our previous season's forecast and using it as a starting point for our new forecast. We do this because within the interiors industry, the design trends tend to evolve from one season to the next. Elements of a trend will often move forward in a new form. Part of forecasting future design trends is constantly assessing the current situation via global news sources and increasingly via citizen journalism. We factor this information into our next forecast, and we do this because what happens somewhere in the world today could ultimately have an effect on the mood in society, changing attitudes, fears and desires, and eventually changing what people want to surround themselves with in their homes and the types of environments they want to spend time in at work, when socialising or when on holiday. The colours, materials, styles, etc. The third stage is the most crucial and time consuming, so we'll look at that in more detail on the next slide. Of course, things happen that we can't foresee and forecast, and stage 4 addresses this. These unforeseeable events are often negative, such as terrorism, natural disasters, deaths of world figures. Our task is to make a judgment on if they will reinforce, change or even introduce a trend, i.e. significant enough to bring about change. It is important to visit exhibitions and shows or read blog reviews and Twitter to find out what is trending. But because we are concerned with what is next rather than what is now, it is even more important for us to forge good relationships with designers or their PR people, so we know what they are working on, being inspired by, what they will be launching next, well ahead of them actually launching new products and at shows. Let's take a closer look at that third stage in the forecasting process, researching events planned to take place over the next 2 to 3 years. Here you can see a list of the main areas we research, and it's really diverse. Obviously we keep a keen eye on catwalk shows, but we also research the gallery and museum exhibitions planned in for over the next couple of years, films due to be released in the next 2 to 3 years, major architectural projects to be completed, commemorations, centennials, celebrations, they all need to be researched. The final stage in the process is to bring all the hundreds of pieces of information together from the 5 stages, the previous forecast, the present, the future, etc., and begin to look for common denominators, connections. At Scarlet Opus we do this on a big colour-coded spreadsheet. The pieces of information are like pieces of a jigsaw. They fit together to form a picture of a trend that gets bigger, clearer and more detailed the more pieces of information we add to it. From here we build private Pinterest boards that we will ultimately edit down for inclusion on our trend boards that visually explain each trend across a season. From initial research to a finished forecast takes us approximately 3 months. One final comment to say about the process and the trends themselves is that the trends are global. We adjust for culture and climate. So on the East Coast, certain 2 colours from a colour palette of 6 might be most popular, and on the West Coast a different 2. But each of the pairs of popular colours will be chosen from the same 6 to 8 colour palette. Nike, for example, release running shoe collections. They don't release running shoe collections specifically for China or any other market. Design trends for both interiors and fashion remain global, and you can confidently develop product on that basis.